Alright, here we are with the thing that I wanted to talk about, which is geometry when it comes to building 3D models. Well, as you can see here, this was uh, Steve's original model, and it looks fantastic, right? This works great, this works great, um, and so it should print, right? It should print just the way it is, no problem. But here's the problem, When you look at the geometry here, you will notice that it is all triangular, and it's obviously been created using multiple pieces and using possibly a boolean to unify the structure, and also probably a boolean to cut through a structure. And so when you do that, when you actually put it into something like this, which is slicer, and then you look at the model, it'll show you these problems right here. Like if you see here, unfortunately I can't zoom because my mouse doesn't have the zoom wheel, but you'll notice that here it's all broken, as well as it is broken up here, so none of that will print once you throw it into Cura. But, and this is where I had to get creative with stuff, I redesigned the parts, and so now when you slice it, this is the preview, and it allows you to see all the bits and pieces. And thanks to dual cooling, as I explained in other videos, I was able to print this without supports, which means very little cleanup. If this doesn't turn out to be perfect, I can print this part with supports, but I just wanted to do that as a trial to see how that would work out, as well as, let's see here, this part here was also printed and printed out great. Again, no use of support here, and it printed out fantastically fine, no problem. Alright, let's go back here to see what I actually had to do in the end with this right here. So if we go back into object mode, so this was the one that Steve created, which broke. I ended up deleting it, but not all of it. So I left this entire part that he built the way it was, and what I did was, let's go back into edit mode if it'll let me. Stop fighting me, computer. Alright, so I left all of this just the way it was when Steve built it, and it seems to have printed just fine. What I did was I added this part here, and I rebuilt this part here so that it would fit this entirely new piece that I built. Now the problem with the part that I built is I don't know if it's perfect based on his specifications, but you'll see that the geometry that I've created is very clean, and so if I ever need to edit this thing at a later date, I can come back here to this file and re-edit it and change things as much as I need to, because it's easy to work with in this kind of configuration. Unfortunately, when you are building things with booleans and stuff like that, the issue that you come into is, well, now you have this triangular mess here, and how do you just go ahead and delete and add bits and pieces to this? It's like a OCD man's nightmare, which you can't do a whole lot with this. You have to like rebuild it from scratch in order to. But if and I think Steve told me that he has the Boolean structure that he used to cut a hole through there. If I was to rebuild this whole piece there, we could use his system there, come in and Boolean out the bits all over again, and then that would be an easy fix for that, as well as this whole bit of geometry there could easily be rebuilt too, now that I've made it like that. But yeah, so this is the update on all that, to show you guys how important it is to build geometry in quads first, possibly when you start out, and then unfortunately every time you turn a file into STL, it will turn it into a triangular structure. However, big difference between having a triangular structure where the STL file will cut a line, or it will put a line between this corner and this corner like that, and so it's actually an original quad. And if you ever do need to fix it later on, all you need to do is just delete that one line there, and it keeps the rest of the geometry as is. Like for instance, over here, what it would do, it would cut a line through there, and so make two triangles. But you see that overall the structure remains pretty good and easy to fix at a later date, because you just delete those two and then just rebuild a face and you're done. But yeah, anyway, that's where we were with that, and hopefully the way that it's built works for Steve. But if it doesn't, we'll go back and we'll rebuild the whole thing. And at least now we know that it takes about 9 hours to build this piece combined with this part and this part. And then all you really need is a couple of screws, one about here and one about here, and it fits together quite nicely. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next update.